австралийский парк рептилий. Он расположен на центральном побережье Новый Южный Уэльс в Австралии. Это где-то примерно 50 километров от Сиднея на север, то есть наверх. И это совершенно рядом с автострадой М1 Pacific. В парке находится одна из крупнейших коллекций рептилий в Австралии, где выставлено около 50 видов.
Крокодильчики. Ох, и роза наглая. Глазки такие. Добрые.
Пальчик откусит, за попку покусает. Он еще плывет, видишь?
Вот отсюда их будут сейчас кормить, а пока они лежат и ждут. Лежат как бревнышки, прикинулись шлангами.
Широкое разнообразие видов рептилий в парке включает змей, ящериц, черепах, драконов, американских аллигаторов и крокодилов. Кроме того, в парке обитают австралийские млекопитающие, такие как кенгуру, валаби, коалы, утконосы, тасманийские дьяволы, вомбат, казуары, кпоки, ехидны и динго. Парк принимает активное участие в сборе яда змей и пауков для использования в производстве противоядия и спасает жизни тысячи людей. Он является институциональным членом Ассоциации зоопарков и аквариумов.
Он из-за одного течения?
Почувствовал.
We need to watch Rogue. We should watch Rogue today because it's a good movie. Have you watched it? It's about a crocodile. I've got a very
Usually I know it's in gay, but I feel like we should buy it. Like more like,
It's a long time. It's about 100 million years.
oh yeah, that's all.
Пытается ползти, но брюха не дает.
Где у них еда? Еда где? Еда где у них? Бывает их всех. Видишь? О, пошел за ним, смотри, видишь? Пошел за ним.
Сейчас зараз прикинуться шлангом.
А вон еще один идет, третий.
Хочет без очереди.
Да, ему надо в очередь. Тоже сгоняют его. Наверное, нельзя, чтобы там они валялись, а то они... Ну, этот вылазит. Что делать?
Like attacking each other.
А тут сидит в кустах. А не
Здоровый, крокодильчик.
I'll be like,
Good afternoon everybody and welcome. This is probably one of, if not our favourite place in the park. Not all staff get to work alligators, and for the ones who do, it's the most rewarding thing, it really is. They're delightful creatures, they're very similar to crocodiles in their physical appearance. Their temperament, very, very different. If you're a saltwater croc, you've evolved to grab a large animal and shake it to pieces in your jaws. You like to attack something up to double your body weight. But if you're an alligator, oh, very, very different. You're not interested in a gigantic food item, you're after a turtle. In fact, your broad, rounded jaw has evolved specifically to allow you to crush a turtle shell very, very effectively. So, theoretically, if you're larger than the alligator's head, it doesn't really perceive you to be a potential food item. Now, you can be threatening or non-threatening, they can certainly bite you defensively, but here at the park, well, 35 here, I've been looking after them for more than 20 years. Every animal has a name, and they have very unique and individual personality and traits. The largest male here was the one who followed me out to be hand-fed. You can literally sit on that animal's back and ride it. Very, very docile creature. They're very familiar with the staff. They're so astute in their observations that they know our faces and our voices. They know who's who. They know who feeds them. They know who maintains the enclosure. Now, most of them are fairly easygoing. We have a couple that are temperamental. There's one that lurks here at the end of the ramp. And traditionally this animal will let me pass no problems, but if I had an assistant who was on the end of the ramp and unable to advance into the ramp and unable to advance any further, well, that'd be a bit different. That one there likes me, she doesn't like anybody else. Now, really and truly, the most dangerous animal in the dam is the one who owns that nest up there in the corner. Her name is Half-Tail. And she is by far and away our most aggressive individual here at the park. Now, having said that, you know, she's not trying to kill you or anything, but she's very, very defensive of what she considers to be hers. And there are 35 animals in this enclosure. She considers everything west of this ramp to be hers. So you find the majority of the animals not up there. Right. Now, even though it's all about the food, when they're on the end of the ramp here, they've been conditioned to feed right here. So they get so wound up that if they accidentally grab you, they can't really differentiate between you and the food, so they'll try and pull you over the edge. Now, we tie ourselves on, just for good measure, we even tie on the tongs. The food itself, oh, that's not tied on. Now, what we're going to do is try and feed, not all of them, we'll feed a few of them, but the important thing is to try not to get popped. Come on, hop. Come on, little ones, hop you come, please. Come on. Hop, everybody line up. Come on, here we go. Hop. The boys are pushing everyone back. Hop. Good boy. Everybody line up. Come on, here we go. Hop. The boys are pushing everyone back. Hop. Good boy. Come on. Let's go. Good girls. Come on. Quick. And you see the difference in the male and females. Males are huge, the females are tiny by comparison. Come on. Big male, 450 kilos.
Сегодня у нас 2 января 2017 года, и мы пришли в наш любимый Reptile парк. Это такой парк рептилий. Это, наверное, час езды от Сиднея. Мы приехали сюда. Вот здесь этот парк. Вот Олег стоит, снимает на видео. Я покажу, сколько здесь людей стоит. Вот люди стоят. Сейчас проходит шоу. Я тут стою, это все озеро. Там люди все стоят. Здесь проходит шоу. Обалденное шоу. Кормят крокодила.
Right, what I've got here is the head from a jewfish, tin frog. Yeah, well, no, tin. Come on. Let's go. Good girls, good girls. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Switch, switch. And you see the difference in the males and females. Males are huge, the females are tiny by comparison. Up, up, come on. Big male, 400, 450 kilos. Big female, about 100 kilos. A mature little female, about 50 or so. Come on, up, come on, good boy. Bigger on enthusiasm, more on time in that bloke. Up, come on, good boy. Up, come on. Up you come, no face. Come on, darling. Come on, come on, come on. No, you're going to miss out. Up, up. That one there bit me once. I had a finger reattached. Up, up, up. Come on, mate. Come on. Up, 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 up. Good boy. Up, come on. Let's go. Up, 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 up. Come on. Good boy. Little ones, come on, up, 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 now again, come on, up, 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 come on, come on, come on, come on, you can push dominated, come on, girls, up, come on, sweetie boys, come on, as far as I can go, darling, up, good girl. Right, what I've got here is the head from a jewfish, Tim Faulkner. I know Tim Faulkner. This is the head of the fish that he caught. He swore that it was well over a metre long, but I've been catching jewfish for a very, very long time. I'm telling you now, Timmy, not even 70 centimetres. Righto, come on. Wait. Righto, now I've got two bits here. Who's going to have them? Come on, come on. Oh, none of it got caught in the end of the tongs. There we go. Last one. Wait. Righto. Now, we're going to feed our alligators not just Saturday and Sunday as we normally do. We're going to feed them 7 days a week, right throughout the school holidays. Every day is Sunday at the Reptile Park. Now, that also...
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. This is Elvis, and Elvis is our resident saltwater cocker. Now, we don't feed this animal very often, except in school holidays, when we feed him 7 days a week, which makes it actually very dangerous, because the cock doesn't eat very often. And if we try and push him 7 days a week, he gets to the point where he's not terribly hungry, and then it's not about food, it tends to be about vengeance and retribution for the staff. Now, to make matters worse, we're going to feed him twice. Lots of you here, and I'm aware that there are some people over the back who can't see, some people over on the veranda. So we're going to give him 4 bits of food, 2 and 2, so to speak. So we're going to ask you to do the right thing. When we give him a couple of bits of food, we'll ask you to let somebody else have a bit of a look. We want you all to be able to see Elvis. Now, I'll give you a quick rundown on him. Elvis is 4.625 inches long. Now, if you still speak imperial, 15 feet 3 inches. This is a very large crocodile. Now, you're always hearing stories about 6 metre crocs. Oh, every second crocodile in North Queensland gets 6 metres long. Here's the real deal. The longest skin, skull or skeletal remains ever found in Australia is 6.2 metres in length. Now, a 6 metre crocodile is a real rarity. That's like your kind of freak show tall kid who's going off to the Institute of Sport on a basketball that's the kind of thing. It's not the norm, that's the exception. Now, if you ran into one this size up in North Queensland, you'd be very lucky. Across the top end of Australia, unlikely there's more than 300 or 400 tops this size. There's a gazillion at 3.5 metres, not many make it to 4, and very few actually approach 5, regardless of what they tell you, tourist parks and whatnot. Now, 3 metre saltwater crop can kill you very easily, and to a certain extent, 3.5 metres is more dangerous than this, because once you get to about 4, you become a bit sluggish, you tend not to be very efficient on the land. At 3.5 metres, oh look out, you're very dexterous and you can leap through your body length. Once you're this size, you're going to leap about half your body length, that's about it. Now, we think he's about 50 or 51 years old. We think this animal hatched a couple of years after I was born. Let's say 65, that meant for the first 10 years of his life there was unregulated hunting. So he was lucky to survive that first 10 years. He was recovered at almost this size from Darwin Harbour. No fatalities, but he was intimidating, families on their barra fishing holiday with the toe behind teeth. Now, what we're going to do is see if we can get him to demonstrate a couple of the ways that he can kill a naive tourist from Victoria. Now, the first is washing your freshly caught fish at the same spot in the river every day. The croc will observe your routine, he'll put himself into position, and when you least expect it, he'll have a bit of a go. Now this one, have a look at Dan, have a look at chicken, and he's thinking to himself, the options are chicken or turkey. Now, righto. Now what you're looking for is a sideways hit of the head. He'll come out a bit, and then it's, righto. Now, that's harder. Not really it. Yeah. Come on, El, do that right thing, mate. You get that chicken, you've got to dispatch it, mate. You've got to get it go.
Is that a turkey, Dad? Is that a turkey, Dad?
Chicken, I think.
Rightio, down the hatch it goes. Now, you might notice that he lifted his head up to swallow. His tongue is very, very different to yours and mine. His tongue is fixed to the inside of the lower jaw. He can't poke his tongue out, nor can he swallow food by rolling it down his throat the way you and I do. Instead, he opens the valve at the back of the throat, raises the head, and the food literally drops down into his gullet. And the reason he's got that valve is to facilitate swimming along underwater with the mouth wide open. That way, if the valve is closed, he doesn't run water into his lungs or into his gut, so he can go at top speed with the mouth open. Now right now he's being quite manipulative. He wants to have that second piece there, but we don't want him to have it there. What we want him to do is to swim through the moat, and we'll see if we can get him to observe your routine. He'll put himself into position, and when you least expect it, he'll have a bit of a go. Now this one, have a look at Dan, have a look at the chicken, and he's thinking to himself, the options are chicken or turkey. Now, that's harder.
Немножко ленивый крокодил.
Scales open. Yes, scales, Daddy.
Rightio, down the hatch it goes. Now swallow food by rolling it down his throat the way you and I do. Instead, he opens the valve at the back of the throat, raises the head, and the food literally drops down into his gullet. And the reason he's got that valve is to facilitate swimming along underwater with the mouth wide open. That way, if the valve is closed, he doesn't run with water. Guy's got chicken legs. Now, righto. Now this is the tricky bit. This pool's been designed to prevent the crocodile from jumping. Now what we mean by that is it's fairly shallow there. Now in the real world the crocodile leaps by dolphin style. Straight down, straight up, that upwards momentum boosts the animal out of the water to the fulcrum, the halfway point where the tail joins the body. But this one's learned a trick. He's learned that if you bounce off the bottom of the pool, then you can leap up pretty high. Now,
Oh, the pool just goes along there.
there you
There's
go.
only one. So that there's only one.
What's even more spectacular than crocodile jumping is a crocodile not jumping. Now, alright. You might get a jaw slap if you're lucky. Beautiful, beautiful work. Righto. Now, if the crocodile doesn't grab that chicken on this jump, he's going to get annoyed. He's going to get very, very annoyed at that. Now, that's good news for you, bad news for Dan. Alright, now, you missed that food. You had that second hit there, but we don't want to give him to get him to jump. Now,
В отелях. Там парк.
this time he's not under the water at all. Alright. Now, if you're lucky, you'll come out a little bit further. If you haven't seen him out of the water, he's actually a little bit bigger than he might appear. Now, he was flying between the trees earlier. If you haven't... There you go, that's how quick it is. Righto. Now, you've got a lot of crocodiles, you really do, which is fantastic. Right. Now, as I mentioned at the outset, we've got 2 more pieces of food, but there are some people over the back there who couldn't see. I can see a hairy, bearded man there who's sort of stroking his chin with dissatisfaction. You, buddy, I don't want your email that you couldn't see, mate. Push your way down the front right now. Go on, use that beard to intimidate other people. Get down the front. Now, even if...
Мы сейчас смотрим шоу с крокодилом, который живет в соленой воде. Его будут сейчас кормить. Вот ему еда. Они будут его кормить. И вот вокруг народ. Столько людей толпится. Это все люди вокруг сидят на этом шоу. Надо его будет кормить.
Just go crack on a piece of food for you. Alright. And we've got sideways motion of the head. What's this like sort of crocodile feeding ballet style, isn't it? It's hardly risking your life there. I reckon put that chicken wing in your mouth.
Интересно. Ой, он не голодный. Крокодил совсем сытый.
You're a sicko, aren't you? You really want to do that. Right, now, that little bit down the hatch. So this is our big saltwater crocodile. Now he's the estuarine croc, and we find him right throughout the South Pacific. Now, we'll give him his first piece now. Croc's getting a bit annoyed, so we'll bring him out and he might just go crack on a piece of food for you. Alright. And with a croc, sideways motion of the head. What's this like sort of crocodile feeding ballet style, isn't it? It's hardly risking your life, Dan. I reckon put that chicken wing in your mouth, crawl up to him, hands and knees, and... You're a sicko, aren't you? You really wanted him to do that. Righto. Now, that little bit down the hatch. Now, if you're thinking, gee, that's only a tiny little bit of food to feed to an animal that size, yeah, you're absolutely right. Over the course of the year, in the wild, this animal consumes about 250 kilos. He kills about 10 big things a year, eats about, 20 kilos at each feed. Here at the park, same volume of food over a 12-month period, but we liked feeding him. We know you like seeing him feed. So we feed him 200 times roughly in the year, and he gets about a kilo in each feed. So at the end of the day, it's all pretty much the same. Different. That thing's full grown. To be honest, only one of them is disrespectful to her father. Now, the one who is always admirably behaved is in here. She's halfway between my child and my pet. Come on, sweetie pie. Now she come down. Come, out we come. That's a go. Right. This is Rosie. Rosie's my pet alligator. And if you're thinking, oh mate, she doesn't look very tame to be a pet alligator, no, you're absolutely right, because having a pet alligator would be highly illegal. Every now and again we get inspected by the alligator inspectors, and this is what we show them, and then they go home, happy. And then things just get back to normal. Oh, as normal as they ever are here at Reptile Park. Now, this is my, well, alligator child. She'll be 17 years of age in March. She literally hatched from her egg in my hand. I was the very first thing she ever did. Now, and the second and the third and the 100th, oddly enough. Now, I know many of you thinking, oh, well, she can't bite at all, mate. Her mouth's tied shut, you know. No, choppers. No string, no sticky tape. Now, some of you are thinking, oh, mate, that's some sort of trick. Yeah, absolutely right, it's a trick. The trick is the clever combination of two things. Alcohol and irresponsibility. Now, most of the training occurs at 9:30 on a Friday night. Now a lot of people ask me, oh, has this animal ever bitten you? And the answer is, yeah. Have you got any stitches? Yeah. How many? 72. All up? No, just her. Now, all up? I don't know, about 800. Now, when she's full grown, she'll be that much longer. Yeah, that's it. This is a female alligator. It's only the male that grows to be enormously large. You run up and have a look at the big dam up there. The big monster ones, males. The ones that people think are babies, adult females. Yeah, I know, in swamp people, everyone weighs 1,000 pounds. Not really. Not really. In fact, if you want to be a 1,000-pound alligator, A, you're a male, and B, you live in a zoo. You really do. And this is why. If you're a reptile, an alligator in particular, or crocodile, you keep growing for your entire life. Now, your growth rates are very...
Captivity, 25, 30 years to grow big, and you're gonna be big because they've been good years. Endless amounts of food, free of predatory threat. So, after 30 years, you're a whopper. But in a zoo, your life's...